I have not had the sort of renunciation which you understand by term in its ordinary sense. For this body has lived with father, mother, husband, and other relatives. This body has served the husband, so you may call it a wife. It has prepared dishes for all, so you may call it a cook. It has done all sorts of scrubbing and menial work, so you may call it a servant. But if you look at the thing from another standpoint, you will realize that this body has served none other but God. For I simply considered everyone as different manifestation of the Almighty. Srima Anandamayi. From childhood to maturity. The Playmates. The playmates of Srima Anandamayi were many. Firstly, her little brothers, she played with them, took care of them, tended them when they were ill. They would be trailing round with her wherever she went. Their attachment to their little sister was quite touching. Once Nirmala was invited to Sultanpur for some festival or other. Her brother Kali Prasanna said to her, "Sister, don't go or I shall never see you again." In fact, he did become seriously ill and passed away shortly after. Nirmala stayed with him till he breathed his last. So it was with the other little ones who were mere infants when they died. Nobody doubted that she had been very attached to her brothers, but she was not seen to cry or mourn their loss. People were puzzled by this insensitivity, and it was another reason for thinking her simple minded. This conjunction of total commitment and aloof detachment remained with her all along, causing surprise to newcomers. In fact, it was a paradox integral to her personality and was never resolved by anyone. Two sisters were born after the brothers Surbala, who died at the age of 16 shortly after her marriage, and Hemlata, who lived to see middle age. Lastly, a brother nicknamed Makhan Sri Yadunath Bhattacharya, who alone survived Srima as well as their parents. Srima had said once that after the untimely death of her brothers, she was left alone. She then had a khayal for one or two playmates. Surbala was about 14 years younger than her and a very lovely baby. Hemlata was born soon after. Both little girls were quite inseparable from Nirmala. Another favorite playmate was her own grandmother, whom she called Thakurma. Thakurma had numerous relations living in Khyora, as this was her own village. Nirmala frequently accompanied her Thakurma on her visits to her friends and family and also on expeditions for gathering herbs and edible greeneries from the forest. Khyora was not a fertile village and nothing much grew out of the soil, at least not on the land belonging to them. Thakur Ma managed to provide the household with some little thing or other. Once while Sri Ma was talking about her Thakur Ma in this strain, her first biographer Guru Priya Didi was provoked into saying, "Marvelous, your compassion and grace on your parents seem to have been boundless. They did not even have sufficient to eat." Srima smiled and disclaimed, "Not at all, we always had plenty. You are reckoning without the ingenuity of my Thakurma." And whatever she cooked, even if it were just edible green leaves and rice, was like divine food. I have hardly tasted food which is better than what Thakurma used to prepare for us. The neighbors always asked Thakurma to take whatever was growing in their fields, but this she never did. Neither did she allow the children to trespass onto others' land. Nirmala was so obedient to the behest of not touching anything belonging to others that she would make a detour to avoid a fruit laden branch hanging in front on the path. Nirmala's Thakurma Tripura Sundari Devi had been married into a prestigious family of spiritual preceptors and scholars. She could have exercised the right of accepting gifts from families of disciples who accorded them the greatest respect. This, however, was not her way at all. Abstinence and self sufficiency came naturally to her. She should have been dressed in ochre robes because at heart she was a recluse. From morning till night, her one pointed attention was directed toward an inner journey. One day, Nirmala asked her, Thakur Ma, what is this word that you keep repeating all the time under your breath? Thakur Ma was surprised at the child's questions. Hush, she said, children are not supposed to pronounce these words. When you are older, you will know about them. Nirmala meekly acknowledging reproof, hung her head a little. Who knows if she at that early age did not begin her ministration of giving Diksha, which became such a surprising phenomenon of the last years of her life, with her own Thakurma. One of the cousins of Thakurma had taken formal initiation from their own family guru. She, being quite untutored, used to forget the instructions for the Sandhya Puja. This ritual is to be gone through mornings and evenings with accompanying movements of fingers and breathing exercises. This grandmother spoke to Nirmala once, saying, Look, I feel embarrassed to ask your mother to show me these kriyas again and again. Can't you show them to me? So she learnt from them, her little granddaughter, not at all struck by the fact that the small girl should know about such matters in the first place.